Welcome to TMZ Live. There has been so much talk over the weekend about what really happened on the streets of Minneapolis with Alex Pretti, who was gunned down. We have a take on this, and I want to start with the way I see this. I think there has been a fundamental misunderstanding and also just that the people are off on their analysis of it. The Trump administration is saying there was a gun. He brought a loaded gun. The reality is the gun is almost irrelevant because until a second before the shooting, I think the video and the witnesses show that the officers had no idea that Alex Pretti was armed.
Whenever we're talking about investigations, there's a phrase we always look at: who knew what and when.
Right.
And you're saying from all the video that we have seen that the when is so close to the actual shooting that it's not the way the feds have made it seem. And all their statements from Christine Ohm on, where they made it seem like he showed up and immediately
brandished a gun,
and the knowledge of him having a gun was on the minds of the agents who were there.
There are two reasons I'm saying this. One is, if they knew he had a gun, say 5 minutes before, the way the officers have conducted themselves in the field, they would have confiscated that gun.
I agree with that would probably be their reaction. I do want to say, and we've been talking about this theory, we don't know everything that was said, and we're about to show you there were multiple interactions with Alex Pretti and these agents before the shooting. And I don't know I can't hear the audio on all of them. So it is possible that he informed them, but I get your point that if he had informed them, they would have reacted much sooner, immediately.
I have a second theory that I think makes this even clearer. And we're not going to play this right now because I want to get into what, at least I believe, happened here, based on all of the witnesses and all of the videos we've seen. But the second reason I say they didn't know until just before the shooting is that, and we'll play it for you in a few minutes, but you hear one of the officers scream as Pretti is on the ground, gun, gun, gun.
And the shock is, this is the first time they're learning of there being a gun.
If they knew it, it wouldn't have been that kind of shock. He has a gun, he has a gun, he has a gun.
Right.
So I think the evidence is all leading to the fact they didn't know he was armed. So all of this is irrelevant.
So the shooting of him is not, it's not because he showed up there intending to harm officers, as has been presented.
So I want to present a theory here, that Alex Pretti got under the skin of these officers and they were pissed off at him before the fatal encounter. And there are 3 videos we can show you to illustrate that. The first one is 5 minutes before the shooting. They push him out of the street onto the sidewalk because they feel he's impeding.
And what he's doing at that moment, and you can see the phone in his right hand, what he was doing, and no one disputes this, that he was recording what was going on, the activities of the agents there who were trying to detain one or more people.
And they didn't want him in the street. And I believe they didn't particularly want him filming.
Right.
But so they take him to the sidewalk, and then they are dealing with a guy in the middle of the street that they are apparently trying to arrest. And guess who shows up in the street?
On the side of the street.
And this is about 2 minutes
second
before.
Video, right.
So watch this. There is Pretti.
That's Alex over on the side.
Filming.
As they are apprehending this person in the middle of the street. So this is now and you can see that there are agents who are looking at him and are aware that he is recording.
I think it's relevant. He's a tall guy. He stands out.
So it's the second time now they've been dealing with this guy who is recording everything they're doing.
And so the third video really starts where he's directing traffic. And he's in the middle of the street, and these 2 women who were in front were blowing the whistle, as you hear, and that means to tell everybody in the neighborhood that ICE is around, even though these were Border Patrol. And so, watch. They push them to the ground. Pretti comes over. Now, what did he do to
get the pepper spray and then also hit in the head with, I believe, the pepper spray can.
With the
right?
pepper spray canister, slugged in the head.
And here it is
The
now.
5 people under him. They were pissed at this guy because
here's
he
the
was
shock.
annoying them.
Comes their shock.
Gun, gun, gun. And now this. The gun was out of his waist.
Right. It was apparently in the back of his waistband.
And,
right?
and an officer had it. But my point is that this had nothing to do with the gun. What it had to do with is they were so charged and angry at him for annoying them by standing in the street, by coming back after they put him on the sidewalk, that they overreacted here, pepper spray. All he's doing is helping up the women.
Right.
But they pepper spray him. They hit him with a canister. They punch him. He's on the ground. They swarm him. And by the time somebody sees a gun, they are so charged that an officer who is already standing there pulls out his gun and reacts because they're just angry.
Right. I mean, I think there's 2 things that are important. So you're saying the initial rousting of Alex Pretti happens because they're angry with him because he's sort of made himself ubiquitous in the scene. He's off the street. He's on the street. He's off the street. He's filming the whole time. He's obviously sort of engaging with them in a way that they don't like. So they're annoyed with him. So then they get him and they try to tackle him. And at some point, what we hear, they discover he has the gun. Now that can obviously elevate a situation really quickly and can lead to deadly consequences that can, in some cases, be justified by the officers taking lethal force. But here they deholster the gun and they grab it.
Well, no, but you got to make one other point.
Yeah.
That the officer who fired the first shot is looking down at Pretti.
Yes.
There is no point at which Pretti is holding the gun.
No, his hands are actually on the ground.
His hands are on the ground.
Holding, right.
So they discover the gun. Presumably a shirt comes up when they're on the ground with him, and they see the gun. An officer takes the gun out. So when he's saying gun, it just means I found a gun.
And they immediately disarm him upon learning there's a gun.
But the guy who's pointing down at Pretti with a gun, is he thinking, oh, it means he's going to shoot us? But they're also charged because they're so angry at this guy that the gun was not why all of this happened.
Right. Yes.
It's that they were pissed off at him because he was in the street filming.
The one part I will disagree with is that the gun does matter in that last second.
In the last second, yes.
In that last second, it matters because, and again, I hope that there is an actual independent investigation that gets to the bottom of this. I hope, I'm not holding my breath though, that you don't know, what we don't know is the guy who fires the first shot, does he fire it because he didn't see the gun taken away from Pretti and he's just reacting because people are yelling gun?
He's looking at his hands on the pavement.
Right, and if he's looking at that, then that's poor training, right?
Maybe more than poor training.
Or an intentional act of anger. I mean, look.
Then you're talking about a homicide.
All I'm saying,
we're talking about
all I'm saying is this whole thing was predicated not on Pretti bringing a loaded gun. It was predicated, the anger was predicated, the annoyance was predicated on Pretti being all over there with a camera, and they were clearly pissed off at him.
Right.
And so this concept where Kristi Noem and Greg Bavino and others are saying, well, he came to the scene with a loaded gun and therefore this is what happens. The officers had no idea until 1 second before, 1 second before shots were fired, that there was even a gun. So all of that, in some ways, is irrelevant, but you see how the snowball got bigger and bigger and bigger.
Absolutely, you do. And you wonder if him bringing a loaded gun with a permit in a permit carry state is relevant at all anyways.
Yeah.
I'm Andrea from Charlotte, North Carolina, and I think just looking at the videos, I think what we are seeing is what we have seen over and over in Black and brown communities, where we have people in these positions that are unfit, and they're nothing more than temperamental man children who have guns, and they're using it anytime someone actually has the audacity to question their authority or exert their rights because they think that they have autonomy to do whatever they want to people and brutalize them. Prior to him being shot, they brutalized him by spraying him when they had absolutely no reason to. All he was doing was defending a woman who they were pushing for filming. And it's just ridiculous.
You know, it is remarkable as we're talking about it that the federal agents either that they didn't think that of all cities that you go into, in Minneapolis, a place where 6 years ago, 5.5 years ago, everyone learned that if you don't record, the fact that so many people recorded what happened to George Floyd is the only reason that there was any accountability there.
Yep.
So in that city, they're going to record whatever you're doing.
And it pissed them off.
Yeah.
Coming up.
Sydney Sweeney flashing some brilliance when it comes to marketing. You know that last year there was an announcement that she was starting her own lingerie line. Well, she did something.
How do you launch something like that?
What's a big idea? I think they came up with a big idea, but they missed a couple of steps because of this big idea, she may be in trouble with the law.
Be right back.
Welcome back to TMZ Live. Sydney Sweeney, I think, flashing some brilliance here. Wow, they had to go to that photo when I said flashing?
By the way, your statement, I think, undeniable.
Flashing some brilliance when it comes to marketing. You know that last year there was an announcement that she was starting her own lingerie line and that she'd even gotten Jeff Bezos as an investor. So everyone thought, wow, that's going to be a huge seller. Well, she did something.
How do you launch something like that?
What's a big idea? I think they came up with a big idea, but they missed a couple of steps because of this big idea, she may be in trouble with the law. Here is the big idea. We got some of this video of a whole production that she put on.
This was a few days ago, last week sometime, where in the dead of night, Sydney Sweeney and a production crew, they scale the mountain where the Hollywood sign is. And
that
then
is the back of the sign that they're
And now they're scaling the sign itself. And they decide to do some handiwork, which is a clothesline of bras that they festoon over Hollywood.
I would take umbrage with the phrase clothesline. There's no clothesline. These are just the bras tied together. No one's putting the laundry out, Harvey.
It's a sexy clothesline. It's a sexy clothesline.
It's a sexy clothesline, yes, okay.
So they literally have this thing from H to D.
Yeah.
And they film it. And then what they do after they film it, those are the bras. They film it, and then they take almost all of them down.
Right.
And
there was like 4 to 5 bras left behind.
4 to 5 behind.
Which could really get Sydney in trouble because you can't just leave things behind at the Hollywood sign.
That's the least of the problems. The problem is this. There is a company called Film LA in Los Angeles where production crews have to get licenses to shoot. They told Sydney's production company, which is a production company just for this lingerie line, and they told them, you cannot even shoot, much less use it, without getting permission from the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce because the Chamber of Commerce owns the sign.
Right.
And
so she
they
got
made that
conditional
clear.
approval from Shoot LA, right?
So there were
From Film
strings
LA.
attached,
She got,
like the bra.
Right.
And so she never went to the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce.
Oops.
And
Hollywood Chamber of Commerce.
She even got an email, too, from them saying, like, hey, we know you guys went up there and you shot. We got to figure this out because we own the image to this. So, I mean...
Well, they not only own the image, but they can't go up there without the permission because this is an area that's cordoned off. It's up in the hills, and I used to live around there. And you have to actually jump a fence to get there. And so there's an issue here. Is this trespass? Is it vandalism to play with the sign?
And if you guys remember, like years ago, there was that huge scandal that happened where some guy scaled the fence and put holly weed
He got arrested.
He was arrested. So, I mean, I hope Sydney doesn't get arrested, but hey, it's on the table.
So the Chamber of Commerce, we asked them if they are planning on pursuing this. We did not get an answer, although, as we speak right now, we're told, I got a text from the head of the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce saying, we're about to send you a statement. So if we get that statement before the end of the show, we'll let you know whether Sydney Sweeney is going to end up in orange.
Hi, I'm Lexi from Newfoundland, and honestly, I think this is hysterical, and I think it's a calculated PR play, and we all know she's really good at those, so I think she's going to have a lot of sales for her new bra company.
Should she go to jail for it, though?
No, she's not going to.
I mean,
definitely not
actually,
going
I
to.
think if you want to go all in on a publicity stunt,
Well, let me ask you a question.
get arrested.
As a different question. If she went to jail, would you commit a crime?
I would certainly try to get on jury duty. I'd say that. Is Kanye West turning over a new leaf? That is the big question after he took out a full-page ad in the Wall Street Journal and presented an open letter called "To Those I've Hurt." By the way, there are reports that a full-page ad in the Wall Street Journal costs somewhere between $200,000 to $250,000.
What are we doing wrong?
I thought the newspaper business was going out. But in this letter, he is addressing a lot of the controversial things, not all of them, but many of them that he has said, as he puts it, over the last 10 years. And he's going back to the car accident he had, I guess, about 25 years ago now. So in the letter, he says, 25 years ago, I was in a car accident that broke my jaw and caused injury to the right frontal lobe of my brain. I lost touch with reality. Things got worse the longer I ignored the problem. I said and did things I deeply regret. It does not excuse what I did, though. I'm not a Nazi or an anti-Semite. I love Jewish people.
Okay, so...
Now, he says, by the way, that frontal damage was undiagnosed for a long time.
Well, we should say that I believe it was around 2015, Kanye was put on an involuntary psychiatric hold. He was diagnosed with,
at that point,
bipolar disorder. So I'm not sure how that plays into the car accident, but we have seen Kanye go off the rails in this very office and having an episode. So what he is saying is, look, this was me not being me, and I'm out of the fog, and I'm sorry for what I did, and I don't feel the way I said I felt. And
by the way, credits Bianca, his wife, in helping him get to this point. We have heard him make, not to this level, but we've heard him make apologies for some of this stuff before. Only to have him then make a, Heil Hitler music video.
But at the same time,
you can't rely on any of this.
You may not be able to rely on it, but there's nothing to rely on. You either accept it or you don't. I mean, at a point, if somebody says it, do you give them a chance? And I don't know the answer.
You can give them a chance at your own peril, because by his own admission, he's saying that this is a constant struggle, whether he stays medicated and eats well and has therapy. These episodes, manic episodes, are extremely empowering. He talks about this. It's very well stated that you don't want to be on your medicine because you honestly feel empowered. You feel like everyone's overreacting.
He told us that here.
Yes.
He told us that here.
That's true, but it's also something that a narcissist might say if they've been relegated to the fringes of society. This is a guy who was extremely influential, and now he's down there with the David Dukes and the Nick Fuentes because of the rhetoric that he's been spewing. If you want to get back in the conversation, you would say something like this.
I don't know.
And you can question the sincerity for that reason.
My feeling about this is, why not say, okay, let us see what you're going to do, but I'm not going to dismiss it as disingenuous without watching his actions from here to 5 years from now.
Yeah, you don't have to. I mean, honestly, but it is something that you can question.
And as a Jew, it would be easy for me to say, screw him, all the things he said, because it's awful. I mean, he said Heil Hitler. He said he loves
a music video.
But now every time he says it, he says, CEG, my article in the Wall Street Journal. That's the disease talking and not me. So where does that get you?
Where it gets me is that you don't want to make things unforgivable at a point. Give him a chance. Maybe he turns it around. If he does, that's fantastic. And if he doesn't,
I'm more leery of it than everyone.
So.
Hi, I'm Karina. I'm from Florida, and I think it's good to see an apology, but healing takes more than words. For many people, trust will only come if it's followed by genuine long-term change.
That's true.
By the way,
that's totally true.
He supposedly has a new album coming up at some point.
Well, that's what makes it suspicious.
But also will give you an opportunity to see what music comes out there. Is there another Heil Hitler? Is there a sequel to that song?
If there is,
and if there isn't, then you can go, all right, maybe he is changing.
That is a low bar.
Coming up.
Singer David might be feeling like police are getting just a little bit closer.
Tightening the screws.
Yes, because one of his close friends was arrested late last week in Montana.
Be right back.
TMZ's got every freaking thing. Big celebs, big stories, big events.
Phoebe Rexa was looking hot on vacation.
Look at the water, too.
Did you just say, look at the water? I mean, I'll be honest, that is what I was looking at. Well, singer David might be feeling like police are getting just a little bit closer.
Tightening the screws.
Yes, indeed, because one of his close friends was arrested late last week in Montana. And the arrest was because his friend Neo, who is in his own right a famous streamer, but Neo had, according to police, failed to appear as a witness for a case in Los Angeles. Now, they have not yet confirmed that that case is connected to the David investigation for the death of Celeste Rivas.
I have one source who says it is.
It seemed, look, we know that there's been a grand jury that has been convened since November at least.
We also know that the DA, Beth Silverman, has been rabid about getting witnesses who are unwilling to appear, and she has gone to court to cite some of them with contempt. So there is a full court press, and Neo was a very close friend of David's, may still be, and it's hard not to connect the dots here.
Yeah, and if you're David, you're definitely connecting those dots.
Because he's the
going,
suspect.
Right.
He's the suspect.
We know that he's the suspect.
Right.
And now Neo's been arrested, but he was extradited to LA on Friday. Spent some time in jail this weekend.
Yep, and then he was bonded out. So my understanding is he's now out. I don't know if, I assume he has to stay in Los Angeles, right?
And that he would now be made to appear at this.
Do you realize how breathtaking this is? That this is a witness to appear before the grand jury who got extradited from another state.
Right, to extradite someone for that.
I have never heard that ever covering Los Angeles.
Right, you extradite actual suspects.
Suspects.
Right.
Well, you don't, but to extradite a witness,
yeah,
and not even before a trial, but before a grand jury.
Right.
I mean, this guy's
shocking.
It has rumors online since this case pretty much started. His name has been thrown out there as someone that was in David's inner circle.
Right.
And
then
so,
we've since seen plenty of photos of them. So
exactly.
We will see what this shows, but I can tell you, based on our investigation and talking to a lot of people involved in this, Beth Silverman has a lot of questions she wants to ask Neo. He is important to her.
By the way,
very important to her.
Should he show up, and obviously they want him to, if he shows up this week at the grand, he'll get thrown back in jail. I would imagine that this is someone who would perhaps exercise his Fifth Amendment right.
He could.
What I was thinking.
He absolutely could.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Ailey. I'm from Melbourne, Australia. And I don't think that this arrest was any coincidence. I think that this was a strategic move made by authorities to kind of capture that no one is untouchable and they want to get to the bottom of what's happened. And they want to serve justice to this poor 15-year-old girl's family. And yeah, I think they're really cracking down on it and making it very clear that this isn't just some irrelevant TikTok drama.
Yeah, no doubt about what you just said.
Coming up.
There have been no lack of perspectives of what happened in Minneapolis, and we've seen what happened to Alex Pretti and the actions of the agents who interacted with him before the shooting and then during the shooting. One perspective I haven't heard yet is someone who is very much an advocate for ICE. That would be Dean Cain, and he is joining us now to talk about Alex Pretti and this incident.
Be right back.
Well, there have been no lack of perspectives of what happened in Minneapolis, and we've seen every angle that is at least available to us at this point of what happened to Alex Pretti and the actions of the agents who interacted with him immediately before the shooting and then during the shooting. One perspective I haven't heard yet is someone who is very much an advocate for ICE and in fact showed public interest in joining, though I don't know if he ever actually did. That would be Dean Cain, and he is joining us now to talk about Alex Pretti and this incident. Dean, welcome to TMZ Live.
Appreciate it, Charles. Thanks, Harvey. I am an honorary ICE agent, and I'm in the middle of my
some of my training now. I've written, produced, and directed a couple movies in between my initial training, and now so they're giving me some leeway and some time to complete these films. But I will complete and become a full ICE agent without a doubt.
Okay.
Okay. So, we've already talked about kind of a theory we had, and let's go to the moment where you see Pretti trying to help up those two women who were pushed down. The reaction was really severe. Forget about, I'm not even the shooting, but, pepper spraying him, hitting him in the head with a canister, punching him, taking him down and swarming him. Do you think that was appropriate force?
Unless you're there in the moment with the agents, it's hard to understand. But if someone is committing a felony, which would be obstructing law enforcement, ICE, federal agents from doing their job, impeding, obstructing, that's a felony. And perhaps they were just trying to take him down at that point in time. And I can't say the reasonableness, the reasonable use of force. You're a lawyer, Harvey, so you'll be able to, argue with that at a certain point in time. But he certainly wasn't there just being a peaceful protester. And it was a very bad idea to engage physically with federal law enforcement while armed.
So, Dean, you said that he was impeding them. Is recording the actions of Border Patrol agents or ICE agents, that's not impeding, though, right?
No,
that is,
that's not.
That is a legal
thing
wonderful. That you can do, and as we've seen for a lot of reasons, wonderful. Should be done.
Yes.
I didn't see anything that, in the videos we've seen, I didn't see Alex doing anything other than that until he stepped in between the agent. No, but so the agent had shoved, again, the women who were shoved, there's no report that they were attempting to arrest them. They were shoving them because they were recording.
No,
so
they were probably shoving them to clear them out of the road or to stop impeding. Usually it's a targeted enforcement.
They were recording and then they were shoved.
Let's say you're right, and I think you are, that they were trying to basically get them out of the road and they pushed them. Whether they pushed them too hard, I don't know. But they pushed them. Okay, but if they do that, why is it impeding the officers to help them up off the sidewalk? Why is that impeding anything?
I have to look at all the footage and see all the body cam.
Let's play the video. So watch the video and just help us out. Where do you see him impeding the officers when he is trying to help these two women up from
That's a problem right there.
Helping the women up?
No, being in the street.
But that's not impeding. Maybe he shouldn't be there.
That is impeding if it's law enforcement. I don't know which cars those are. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what this targeted enforcement is for. But, he could be impeding at that moment right there. It's hard for me to tell at this point. He's standing between law enforcement officers and that woman. That's a mistake in its own right. And doing it while armed is a bad idea. I think once these signal chat things come out, and the Department of Justice gets a chance to review the body cams of all of these agents who are probably wearing body cams, I think we'll have a much clearer picture.
A lot of them weren't.
Well, if one of them is, you're going to have a different angle that we haven't seen. And you're going to hear a lot of audio that we can't hear there. If he was instructed to get out of the road, if he was asked to move it to a different direction or told or ordered to do so and didn't do so, you're starting to impede.
You know what, Dean? It occurs to me that the video that you're talking about, whether or not the agents were wearing body cam, but Alex Pretti's phone would have this video.
Yes.
Do you think that that is something we should all get to see, Alex Pretti's video, unedited?
I'm all for 100% for full disclosure. Absolutely.
So I want to get back to this impeding thing because I do think you're right. I think that is a critical issue here. He was helping two women up who were not targets.
They were not being arrested.
They were not targets of the Border Patrol. They were not illegal aliens. There was no thought they were. In fact, the officers knew who they were because they were blowing whistles before. So they were merely people that they had pushed to the ground. By trying to help somebody up, how is this impeding anything? I don't understand that.
How many times had he had communication with law enforcement and officers before that moment? Why was he standing in the street? There's a lot of questions that need to be answered. He may have been impeding. He may have become himself a target just for, standing in front of, maybe it was standing in front of ICE vehicles. I don't know.
Look, Dean, to your credit, you've said like you want to see full disclosure
100%
of this video. It's,
I'll say this, Charles, as someone who does carry a weapon often concealed, if I have any interaction with law enforcement, I immediately want them to know that I am carrying a weapon. I have a badge in my pocket. I'm a law enforcement officer. I will show my hands. I don't want there to be any misunderstanding, because that's a very tenuous situation. These officers are wonderful, fantastic, lovely people. I know so many of them, and they are under so much pressure and so much attack through the media, through Governor Walz, through Mayor Fry, through elected political leaders. I don't know what the lieutenant governor is doing there in Minnesota. I've seen a lot of things online recently saying she was involved in the signal chat things, and I don't know. But I do know they're attacking, hotels last night where they think ICE people are staying. They think anybody who is ICE is driving through the area. They pull them over, and they use a pretty forceful language, and they ask for ID and things that make no sense for citizens to be doing, trying to identify them, putting them in databases, doxing them. This behavior is going on. So these officers and agents are under incredible pressure. And the last thing you want to do in a situation like that is have a firearm, be in that situation, put your hands on law enforcement in any way, shape, or form, because you're asking for trouble.
But a firearm that he was legally permitted to carry.
Was he carrying his ID?
Under his Second Amendment right?
Was he carrying his ID?
Well, Dean, if you get in a car accident and for whatever reason you don't have your driver's license, it doesn't make you liable. The fact
it makes it illegal. It makes you not able to carry.
But Dean, they never got to the point of saying, "Let me see your ID."
I know, but he's there with again.
Dean,
it's dangerous. It's a dangerous game.
They didn't know it until 1 second before the shooting.
If you're an officer and you hear gun, 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 and you're in the middle of a tussle, that's a problem.
Well, but wait a minute.
But should you look to see...
who is the problem? When you say gun, 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 shouldn't the officers be coordinated enough that there is a difference between the person on the ground brandishing it and an officer who's already taken it away? Shouldn't they have the responsibility of coordinating before they shoot?
Harvey, you know how fast these things happen. It's Graham versus Connor. It's a Supreme Court case. It's about the reasonableness of what a reasonable officer would do in the same circumstance. And that's going, and it's not 2020
But
hindsight.
I'll give you the answer. There are a lot of police departments that have protocol with what they say in a situation like this. Sometimes you say gun as opposed to gun, gun, gun in a shocking way to distinguish between somebody is about to shoot you and they've disarmed a suspect.
I've been part of 4 police departments, and I've never heard that specific change. When you see a weapon and you're in the middle of taking someone down who is resisting law enforcement. By the way, he was resisting.
His hands were on the ground.
They put their hands on you.
His hands were on the ground, and he was...
No, lay flat. Put your hands out wide. If you have a weapon on you, there's no way.
He couldn't. He had 5 people on top of him.
Yes, he can.
He had 5 people on top of him.
Well, Harvey, this will be legislated in the court of law. It'll be seen, and we'll be able to go through it. But right now, I don't agree with that.
But I hope what you just said does happen, Dean. If it doesn't, if that doesn't happen, if there isn't an independent investigation, if it isn't adjudicated in a court of law, how should we feel as Americans if that doesn't happen?
Well, it has to be reviewed and looked at, and it will happen, as far as I know. I don't think that there's any chance that this won't. It's certainly got enough high-profile attention on it from you guys and others, so I'm sure that it will be looked at and adjudicated and dealt with.
I got to say, Dean, I certainly don't agree with a lot of what you're saying, but what I do believe is you're really a fair guy, and I hope you do get more involved in ICE, because I think a voice like yours, honestly, where you're searching for truth, I think is badly needed. So I really mean that.
Well, if that becomes my role at ICE, I'd be very happy to take it, because we don't, the ICE agents are wonderful people. They don't want to have to shoot somebody. Their job is to go get bad guys, go get pedophiles, murderers, rapists, and take them and deport them. They're here to enforce the laws that Congress put on the books, and they shouldn't be vilified like that. This is a horrible tragedy. I think it's an avoidable and very regrettable tragedy. I'm sorry this happened. It's terrible. I feel horrible for his family, who I understand had told him, don't confront, don't agitate. But you never know what's in someone's heart or what happens in those circumstances until it takes place. And hopefully we will uncover that 100%.
Okay, Dean.
All right.
Really appreciate the time.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks, Charles. Thanks, Harvey.
Thanks, Dean.
Coming up.
TMZ After Dark Tour just keeps branching out.
Yes.
We find new experiences almost every week. And this week, it felt a little kind of music festival-ish. Maybe Coachella on wheels?
Be right back.
TMZ After Dark Tour just keeps branching out.
Yes.
We find new experiences almost every week. And this week, it felt a little kind of music festival-ish. Maybe Coachella on wheels?
Coachella.
We don't want
the new Coachella, folks.
Okay, slow down.
No,
we don't need Coachella anymore.
You don't have to drive all the way to Palm Springs anymore.
Right. Just come hang with us.
Yeah.
On Hollywood Boulevard.
Friday and Saturday nights.
It was awesome, huh?
It was epic. Like, move over EDM, move over Insomnia, because this was a music festival on wheels. And when just looking at this footage, I think this was the bus's first ever mosh pit.
Who got us? Who got the mosh pit going?
So this was Nikki Page. She's a pop alternative artist, and she sang her tunes on the bus. This is really cool. So she actually has a recording studio on a yacht. So this was normal for her, just like making music and singing music on a random vehicle.
Hey, can we check the insurance policy?
Yeah, for mosh pits. Is there a mosh pit exception? We have a carve out for
mosh pit.
Go on.
And you know how we have a celebrity tour where we look for celebrities?
We do indeed.
Yeah.
We apparently run into celebrities on TMZ After Dark as well.
So we're at the Saddle Ranch.
So we went to the Saddle Ranch.
On the Sunset Strip.
Where you do often see a lot of celebrities?
We saw a celebrity that we were starstruck by.
Not the bull.
The purple dinosaur, Barney.
The purple dinosaur.
Not the dinosaur itself, but the actor inside.
David Joyner, the OG
Joyner.
Barney. So he played Barney for the first 10 years. Fun fact, when I first became a tour guide, this was my first get on the celebrity tour, and we did it on the show. He passed by us in a convertible, and he's like,
"Oh yeah,
hey,
I remember
Barney."
That.
Yes. Yeah. That was one of my first gets on the tour, so this was very full circle for me.
No, it's amazing. And listen, you can get tickets, $69, and you may see Donald Duck next week. Okay. Every weekend we put polls up on the website to find out how you feel about things that happened this week. We did that, and here are the results.
Taylor's role in the Lively Baldoni showdown. She was ambushed and innocent, or she was deeply involved?
Definitely deeply involved.
Come on.
What? Oh, God. Swifties.
50%.
These Swifties are so blind over this. Come on. Next. Okay. Brooklyn Beckham's wedding video. Too humiliating for public view, or release it. Everybody wants to see this video.
Release the
and
video.
It's Mark Anthony's fault anyway.
Right.
So come on. Okay. Next one. Trump's Greenland obsession is just for national security or an Epstein distraction. They can be 50-50.
No.
Wow.
People, they haven't forgotten about it.
Okay, two more.
Dana White and Harvey's $10,000 blackjack showdown. I'd crush Harvey in Vegas, or dumb luck is real.
Wait a minute, that's not a fair option.
Let's see. Those are people who we're not saying who won. You got to watch the video. It's on our YouTube channel. But they seem to think dumb luck is real.
How about this? Strategy is real. How's that?
Strategy.
Don Lemon's church protest report. Take him down, DOJ, or no crime, legit journalism.
Please, I beg. Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
And that's all she wrote.
Coming up.
Candidate Spencer Pratt is out pressing the flesh, trying to get word out about his mayoral campaign here in Los Angeles.
What do you say to all the people saying stick to reality TV on this mayoral journey?
I don't see those people, so they must be muted or blocked.
Be right back.
Candidate Spencer Pratt is out pressing the flesh, trying to get word out about his mayoral campaign here in Los Angeles.
2026 or 8?
Actually, that is 2026 for him. He's got the right year.
Yeah.
That's a different candidate you're talking about. But he's going far and wide to get the word out. In fact, he was in New York City, of all places.
New York City?
New York City, yes, with all the snow. He was on CBS this morning to talk about making the jump to politics. And we got him as he was leaving. Here's what he said.
What do you say to all the people saying stick to reality TV on this mayoral journey?
I don't see those people, so They must be muted or blocked because I only see people saying, thank God Spencer's running for mayor of LA.
Well, how have you been preparing? Like, have you hired any particular people to kind of help you on the journey? Any good advice from any politicians?
You're going to have to go on mayorpratt.com and see all those, great endorsements, and you can see all the plans.
Are you nervous?
Oh, what are they going to burn my house down again?
Ouch.
Don't discount his candidacy.
That's a nice biting, like as you walk away.
It's a decent slogan, but at the same time, all we've heard from Spencer Pratt thus far is just, we're mad about the fires. Karen Bass ruined the fires. We haven't heard any other policy that he's going to do.
How did Donald Trump win the last election?
The last one?
Immigration. Well, immigration.
It was talking about build the wall.
Right. You don't need 10 things.
Right.
Well, at the same time,
you need one that
the fires
one that resonates.
The fires were devastating to people in Los Angeles, but mostly to those who lived in Altadena and the Palisades.
But it shows a failure of leadership, and that's what he's telegraphing. That even if you weren't involved, there are a lot of people who feel like there was a failure of leadership. Karen Bass still has a real strong base in this city. It's going to be. I am fascinated by this mayoral election. I am fascinated on how people are going to react in this city.
I'm Macy Ray from Atlanta, Georgia, and Spencer Pratt running for LA mayor has definitely taken a lot of people by surprise. You know, a lot of people are saying that he's just doing this for attention because he's a reality TV star, but because he lost his own home last year due to the wildfires, I do think he could be taking this seriously just to make sure it doesn't happen to anybody else. And if he has a good campaign team put together to show that seriousness, I think he could have a chance.
He may. He may. What else you guys want to talk about?
Yeah, so for Trump, ICE, man, they got to leave Minnesota, man. I don't know what's going on. I'm from Minnesota. This thing is crazy. I know they're talking with the governor and everything, but it's not good. Like, I don't know what's his problem. Oh, we got to go in. We got to go into Minnesota, the Minneapolis. We're going to go colder than the tundra of Minneapolis. The ice, we're going in the cold. Like, what are you talking? Get out. No one wants you here. Like, bro, I'm saying it. I get it. Y'all doing y'all job is whatever, but people are scared. It's not, bro. It's never that deep to make people scared to leave their homes, leave abandoned cars outside. Bro, the scenery is just, it's eerie. It's not good, bro. What are you, like, come on. This is not our country, bro. Come on.
We will see what the administration does.
Coming up.
One of the fun scenes from this storm in New York City, Shaun White snowboarding in Central Park and jumping over comedian Shane Gillis.
Be right back.
Okay, we know that most of you watching this are somewhere in the country where it is really cold, and we hope that everything gets back online for you very quickly. We're going to show you one of the fun scenes from this storm in New York City. How many days are you going to get to see Shaun White snowboarding in Central Park and jumping over comedian Shane Gillis?
Wow.
That doesn't happen every day.
No.
I wonder who's responsible for building the ramp.
I would trust him.
Would you?
Yeah, come on. That aside, we feel for all you guys.
Yeah.
We are in a different climate, and we know people are really suffering from this. So
yeah.
We're thinking of you.